Shalom, shalom, family. This is your brother Mikael Malek in Israel, coming to you with a powerful, powerful message that the Most High has bestowed upon me to bring forth to you. Before we get started, I do want to give all praises to the Most High Yah and His only begotten Son, the Mashiach, the Holy One of Israel. And what we're going to be discussing today, the topic is plagues in the last days. And there's a lot of wonders going on. We have been seeing all these things for the last 2 years that's been happening on this earth that we've seen. And the reason I'm bringing this message is because, unfortunately, we have a lot of our people still not paying attention to these signs. They still not wondering what's going on or who they are or what's truly happening. And really was only till recently where people started figuring out that we may be truly in danger as a people, as black people, when the government shut down. So I'm bringing this to you so those who may not understand have a full understanding what these signs that we're seeing on this earth, what they truly mean, and what could be possibly coming at any given moment, right? So I do want to give a shout out to all the 12 tribes of Israel scattered abroad the four corners of the earth, to the camps of the congregation and assemblies that scattered across North America. Continue to put the work in, continue to do the job of the Most High, right? So before we get started, I want to start in Psalms 135. We're going to start at verse 4.
Psalms 135, verse 4. For the Lord hath chosen Jacob unto himself, and Israel for a peculiar treasure.
So he chose Israel for a peculiar treasure. Come on.
For I know that the Lord is great, and that our Lord is above all gods.
Keep going.
Whatsoever the Lord pleased, that did he in heaven, and in earth, in the seas, and all deep places.
So we got to understand, all these wonders that's going on, all these signs, these miraculous events happening, that's by the hand of the Most High, and no other God. There's no other God that's doing that except the hands of the Most High. Right? Come on.
He causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings for the rain. He bringeth the wind out of his treasures. So
all this good that you see going on amongst even Israel, that's by the Most High hand. All this evil you see going on in the world, that's by the hand of the Most High. So we have to identify first who is creating this havoc on earth right now, right? Come on.
Who smote the firstborn of Egypt, both of man and beast.
So he's the one that smote Egypt. He's the one that put his hand upon Egypt and applied his great wrath. We're going to go to verse 10.
Who smote great nations and slew mighty kings.
So he's the one, when it came to these kingdoms being shut down that Israel was in captive to, that was by the hand of the Most High. So we have to identify who is the creator of these great signs and these great wonders on the earth. And we also know that's the Most High. Right? That's the first thing. Right? This is the creator creating havoc on earth and creating these great signs. Right? But Israel, his peculiar people, should understand this. Why? Because he gave us the Torah, he gave us the book to identify these things. Right? Let's see. Genesis 1, start at 14.
Genesis 1:14. And Yah said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days.
And you said for seasons, and for what?
And for days.
Come on.
And years.
And years. So he gave us the lights, the sun for the day, and the moon and the stars for night. But it wasn't just to have light on earth, but these were going to be signs unto us, Israel, to understand the signs that was happening in its due seasons. So that's the first thing he gave us to that. He gave us that in the beginning. So when you see these miraculous events happening, whether that be the blood moon or what we're going to discuss, or the eclipse going on, understand these were signs that the Most High was going to give to us to understand the time and season of what's to come. Right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes 3:1. So we got to understand there is a time and a place for everything. There's a time to hate, there's a time to love, right? So let's identify what this time is. That's going on. All these events happening, these great wonders happening. What time is this? Come on.
Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1.
We're going to go to verse 8 too, by the way.
Okay. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
So to everything there's a season and time. It's for the purpose, not for us, but it's the purpose of heaven, right? So we have to identify what the purpose is and what time and season we're in. Come on.
A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted.
Mm-hmm.
A time to kill, a time to heal.
So it's a time to kill and it's a time to heal, right? Come on.
A time to break down, and a time to build up.
So it's a time to break down, it's time to build up. And you see, this is the words of Yah coming to us. So we have to identify. In these last days, is it going to be a time to build? Or are we going into a time to break down? Continue.
4. A time. A time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance.
And we got to understand right now, this is a time of mourning and weeping for Israel. Because we're still in this captivity. But also, we're slowly coming out of that time of mourning and weeping. And we're surely about to come to pass praising and glorifying. Come on.
5. A time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together.
Time to gather stones together. That means it's going to also be a time for war and fighting. Come on.
A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing.
So this could be a time where Israel needs to come together and embrace each other because we know what's about to happen. But also it's a time for the wheat and tares to separate the holy from the unholy. See? And we have to, how do we identify that? By wisdom, having the Ruach HaKodesh upon us to identify who we need to deal with and who we not to, because that person can lead us astray by the wayside if you don't have discernment to understand these things in the time we're in. Come on.
6. A time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. So
now we have to identify, is this the time to keep silence or is it time to raise up and cry aloud? I truly believe now for Israel, it's a time to raise up and cry aloud. We see that what's been happening. We see the events happening in D.C., right? Which I understand a couple Hebrews are offended and feel angry towards that event as if we embarrassed the nation. I'm saying we because that's our people, as if we embarrassed the nation. But you got to understand, because of that event, because they cried out loud for the truth and sticking up for our people, the whole world is shaking up now. You got to understand that was prophesied that it was going to happen. You see, this is why we have this book to understand these times. You see? What verse was that?
7, right?
Come on.
A time to love and a time to hate.
A time to what?
A time to hate.
A time to what?
A time to hate.
So you got to understand with that event that happened in D.C., that was truly Jacob and Esau wrestling in the womb. You see? And Israel about to truly be born again to a righteous kingdom. So it was a time to really hate. It was a time where you saw the enemy saying, build the wall, build the wall. And you saw Esau showing hate towards our people. But guess who ordained that to happen? The Most High ordained that to happen, to be televised around the world. So now we see it's a division right there happening. Our people are now starting to see that truly we're not welcome here in the land of our enemies. We're not welcome to truly be happy, truly rule, and truly not feel oppressed. That's why there's chanting, make America great again. This is their time of hate. They're showing hate right now. So this is why we use this word to identify this, so you won't get shaken up in spirit. You won't be so quick to cast your brothers out, because now you understand what's going on. So let's go to 2 Timothy 4 and 2.
2 Timothy 4 and 2. Preach the word, be instant in season.
Be what?
Be instant in season.
Come on.
Out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine.
And that's what those brothers was doing. You see, this is a time when Israel has to turn up on getting this word out. He said, preach to all nations. Preach the gospel to all nations. And that's what they did. They went out there and they labored and was rebuking, showing reproof, and bringing out the truth. Out of season. Because it's winter. You see, the Most High told us to preach the gospel in season and out of season. This is a time when Israel can't take no breaks from teaching His word. This is where Israel can't take no breaks from the works. This is where Israel ain't got no time to slip up, go back into the world and be who you was before you got in this truth. We have no time for that. But understand this, another sign, as he said, in these last days there should be a great falling away. You see? So don't even get weird when you see that, Israel. Don't get weird, because it was supposed to happen. That's why we have to constantly study ourselves approved, so we understand when things happen and transpire, it was ordained by Yah. He prophesied. They were prophesying that back in the day. And look at this coming to pass right now in front of our faces. You see? So that's the point of this video. Because there's signs and great wonders going on that a lot of us are not paying attention to. And if you don't pay attention, you're gonna miss that wave, you're gonna miss that boat that's coming. You're gonna miss that plane that's coming for Israel. That eagle that's coming for Israel, you're gonna miss it if you're not paying attention to the signs that's going on in the world. So I just wanted to point out some of the things that's going on that even happened in the first Exodus. And we all understand that there's going to be a second Exodus, a second great awakening for Israel to be delivered from their captives. So I wanted to identify some of the things that happened in the old that's happening now. Can you give me Ecclesiastes 1 and 5? Ecclesiastes 1 and 5.
Ecclesiastes 1 and 5. The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to the place where he
I'm sorry,
arose.
Salika. Verse 9, I'm sorry. Verse 9.
Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be.
The thing that has been shall be. Come on.
And that which is done is that which shall be done.
So the same thing that happened in Egypt the first time is going to happen again in the second Egypt, the spiritual Egypt. Come on.
And there is no new thing under the sun.
And there is no new thing under the sun. We have to. This is where precept upon precept, line upon line come into and understanding the scriptures. The same thing that happened then shall happen again. So I just wanted to point some of the things that happened out, right? Plagues in the last days. It's a lot of signs going on. I wanted to just point them out. So the first plague that has happened in today's time was locusts, right? Locusts in Mecca. Nobody knows how that happened or what triggered it to happen. Now, of course, we understand Esau and his game and his semantics. He said, oh, it's the natural cause of this thing. But we understand the word, right? What has been shall be again. Exodus chapter 10, verse 12. So let's see, has this happened before? Come on.
And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts. That they
With the what?
For the locusts.
For the locusts. There was locusts in Mecca. And from my understanding, it was a second coming of locusts just happened in Mecca once again. And you see, that's what happens when you try to teach this evil doctrine that's against the true naturality of the Most High. You try to teach the unholy Quran as if it's of the Most High, when it's not. And he cast a plague right upon this place that got our people still stuck in this madness. So that was just one plague that has happened. Next plague. Well, finish that, I'm sorry.
And the Lord unto Moses stretched out thine hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come up upon the land of Egypt, and eat every herb of the land, even all that the hail hath left.
And that's what happened. Dead locusts dropped out of the sky unto the unholy place of Mecca, where Muslims go to worship, wood and stone. Most High is not playing at all. So let's check out the next one. Exodus 7 and 20. So the next event that happened was it was a blood river in various parts of East Africa that nobody can explain. People are just oblivious of how did this happen. But the Most High said he was going to send time. He's going to send signs. Do not be dismayed, Israel, because we know what time it is. So let's see if this plague was in also Egypt. Exodus 7:20.
Exodus 7:20. And Moses and Aaron did so, as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod, and smote the waters that were in the river, and in the sight of Pharaoh, and in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood.
Hallelujah. So he said he put his rod in the river, the Nile River, and the whole river turned into blood. Now we understand a rod in the Hebrew, which the Hebrew alphabet is lamem, means strength. Staff means strength. And what can we spiritually say is strength today? Israel coming together. Israel is putting their doctrines aside, putting these names aside, and say, you know what? Let's come to a common ground. We're family, we're a nation. The common ground is this. We believe in the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, which the Messiah himself kept. All those other doctrines we'll put aside, and we'll let the Messiah sort it out when he get here. That's what you see transpiring in Israel. As Israel is coming to unify, you see more things happening on this earth. More destructive things happening on this earth. Because the love of Israel is starting to unite. We're starting to slowly but surely put those two sticks of the house of Israel and the house of Judah together. And there's nothing that Esau can do about it. So he's frantic. He's scared. He don't know what's going on. How is it that locusts fell from the sky? Can't nobody explain it. How is it that it's a blood river and can't nobody explain it? Because the Most High said, I do all things. Do not be dismayed, Israel. Do not be dismayed. So let's see what the next plague that's happened. This happened about the end of the summer last year. It was over 18 wildfires in Europe. Some in Paris, some in Russia. All over the place. And couldn't nobody understand how this happened. And they were going for a nice minute. For a nice minute. And could nobody explain it. You see the fire happening in California. That went for weeks. And could nobody stop it. And Esau is terrified. He don't know what to do. But he said what? He said he chose Jacob as a peculiar people to himself. For he created us in his likeness. That don't just mean image, but he created us to have a mind like him. To understand the things of the earth, you see. So that was just another plague that happened. Another one. All right, man. Exodus 9:24. Exodus 9:24. Yeah, Exodus 9:24. So let's see, was there wildfires going on during that time? Exodus 9:24.
So there was hail and fire mingled with the hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation.
And that's what those Europeans said. They said, yo, we ain't never seen nothing like this happen. We can't even explain what just happened. We need help, though. We need help. They couldn't even explain this phenomenon that happened. 18 wildfires spread it out all through Europe. And can't nobody explain it. These are the signs that the Most High is showing us that something is about to happen. Now we understand that the 400-year prophecy that most believe is coming to pass, that spoke of to Abraham in a vision in Genesis 15 and 13. Now I'm not predicting the time because the Most High said no man knows the time. But what I'm saying is this, he did say pay attention to the signs. And I just think it's very funny as we roll up on 400 years of slavery and bondage in America, that these plagues are starting to happen. I'm just putting the pieces together. So let's see what's the next one. Well, blood moon. Everybody understands the blood moon, when you look it up, means a sign of destruction is coming. Joel chapter 2, verse 31.
Joel chapter 2, verse 31. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood.
Into what?
Into blood.
We just had a blood moon. Come on.
Before the great and the terrible day of the Messiah to come.
Before the what?
Before the great and the terrible day of the Messiah to come.
Before the great and terrible day of the Messiah come. Now, what did he tell Israel to do before that great and terrible day? Let's see. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
O nation not desired. We're in a time that no heathen wants to deal with Israel. You see it all over on CNN. They don't want no part. They trying to see how they can destroy Hebrew Israelites. But he told Israel to gather together. And we got a lot of Hebrews who sitting here forsaking the gathering. Just like the wonderful Hebrew summit that just passed. It was so beautiful. So beautiful. And I want to give a shout out to Masharal Yasha'ala and also the sponsorship of the African Hebrew Israelites of Dimona. Coming together. These are two different organizations. Coming together, putting their differences aside and say, you know what? We understand the time. So we're going to put our differences aside and gather the nation as the scripture said. Read that one more time.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Now go to the next verse, because he said the blood moon was what? It was a sign before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Watch this.
Before the decree, bring forth before the day passed as a chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord came up upon you. Come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger came upon you.
So he told us to gather ourselves before the decree. Decree means destruction. He sent the blood moon to tell us destruction is on its way. So how can you be a Hebrew forsaking the gathering when the scripture tells us to gather together? Before the decree. Because we have to stay in the love of the Most High and the Mashiach. The second greatest commandment, love thy brother as yourself. If you truly love your brother, you can put your differences aside and you say, for the greater good of the nation, I'm going to come together because I see the time that's coming. I see the time that's coming. So he said, gather yourselves. And that's what Israel is doing. And that's why these things are happening. Because Israel is gathering themselves together. So he's sending signs and warnings to Israel that keep doing your thing because I'm coming. I'm coming, and I ain't coming for peace. I'm coming with a sword. So y'all better be ready and in the spirit when I come. But how many of y'all sitting behind keyboards, still debating, still saying who right, who wrong, still saying, oh, camps is this, camps is that, congregation is this, congregation is that. You forsaking the gathering when the Most High told you not to. But guess what? We understand what you're doing because he said it was going to be a great falling away. In the last days, it's a sign. So all praise to the Most High that he's showing us these things. So let's see another plague. 5. Hail falls in Saudi Arabia. Exodus 9-22. Mind you, I just said Saudi Arabia. Now, we all know it's hot over there. They don't get no type of winter storms. But it said, hail falls in Saudi Arabia. The great wonders of the world is coming to pass. Read that for me.
Exodus 9, verse 22. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch forth thine hand toward heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, upon man, and upon beast, and upon every herb in the field throughout the land of Egypt.
And that goes into also number 6. Fire and hail at once hit Australia and was accompanied by lightning, which killed off their cattle. Read that one more time for me.
And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch forth thine hand toward heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, upon man and upon beast, and upon every herb of the field throughout the land of Egypt.
The Most High is not playing. He's not playing no games. And if you truly in the spirit of the Most High, you wouldn't be playing games with nobody either. Because at this pertain moment, our salvation is on the line. Jeremiah 10:2. So when you see this, don't be dismayed. Don't be scared. Don't be frightened. Because the heathen is frightened. Because they don't know what the hell going on. But what you need to do is prepare thyself. Prepare thyself. Because the great and dreadful day is coming. Read that.
Jeremiah 10 verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Do not be dismayed at these signs. Do not be dismayed at the signs of heaven. Why? Because he gave you before time what it was going to be. If you truly study, you will know that these things are going to come to pass. You see? Keep reading.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
For the heathen are dismayed at them. Because why? They don't have the book. They don't understand the book. This book was made for you, Israel, to understand what was going on in the world and also understand what's going on with your nation. So if you're a so-called Hebrew Israelite and you scared at these signs, like truly scared, that means you don't understand what the scriptures were saying. These are signs for you to prepare yourself for the great coming of the Lord. Psalms 147, you're going to read verses 19 and 20. This is why you should have known this was going to happen. This is why you should not be dismayed as the heathen. Watch this.
147 what?
Psalms chapter 147, verse 19 through 20.
Psalms 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
He showed his word unto you, Israel. Come on.
His statutes and his commandments unto Israel.
Mm-hmm.
He hath not dealt so with any nation.
He have not dealt so with any nation, so that's why they would be dismayed. Come on.
And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
And they don't understand his judgment. They never known him. We're the only people with an actual God. We're the only people with an actual law that coincides also with the earth and understanding the signs of the earth. It was not given to the heathen or the goyim. It was given unto you, Israel. So for you brothers who scared of what happened in D.C., that just tells me you don't understand what's going on. You don't understand the signs and wonders of how he uses people and the heavens and the earth to give us a message. He told you, do not be dismayed. Don't be scared. Don't be fearful of this. It was supposed to happen. Understand this. So let's go to our next plague. We had the eclipse. This is probably the start of signs amongst this earth. We had the eclipse in August 2017. And what happened with that eclipse, it actually ushered in the biggest hurricanes, the biggest earthquakes that the earth has ever seen. I'm talking about back to back to back to back hurricanes. And could not nobody explain it. Not even the people who be trying to put the little needle all through the earth and read the earth and the tectonic plates. Nah, they couldn't even understand how that happened. Let's see. Joel chapter 3 verse 15. Joel chapter 3 verse 15. We got to start paying attention more, Israel. We got to start getting back in that word a lot more. Nowadays, we've been so lackadaisical just because we only found out our identity. Finding out who we are is not enough. Just speaking the language is not enough. Just dressing in garments with fringes on is not enough. You got to do. And you have to have a faith to do. Straight is the gate, narrow is the path. Many are called, but few are chosen. Understand that. Read that.
Joel 3, verse 15. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.
And that's what you see going on today. That's exactly what you see going on today. The earth is shaking up because it's been so defiled for so long. It's like a woman on her cycle. She's letting out all those bad things that she's been keeping in through her cycle. So now that's what the earth is doing. And she's pouring out and letting out all the defiled things that's within it. And showing signs of it's coming, right? These are the cause of the cracks of the earth, right? So the next thing that happened, that we all know this happened, and I think Israel is actually happy this happened. Now you got Hamites, right? You got Hamites killing off Edomites in South Africa to get their land back. You had Hamites throwing all types of things and destroying H&M. And this just happened last year. You also got what? You had a huge riot in Paris. What did he say was going to happen in the last days? Let's see. Mark 13 and 8.
Mark 13 and 8. For nation shall rise against nation.
You said what?
For nation shall rise against nation.
So the Hamites are rising against the Edomites right now. Come on.
And kingdom against kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And there shall be earthquakes in divers places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrow.
These are the beginnings of what?
Sorrows.
And that's before the great and dreadful day, Israel. All these plagues are happening right before our eyes, and you still choosing to be a half Hebrew. You still choosing to divide yourself because of doctrine or a name. Come on now. Most High gave us these things to see these things and understand these things, and he told us in these last days before the decree, gather yourselves. While these things are going on, we're supposed to be gathering ourselves. You gotta understand that. Give me Revelations 2 and 9. This is what's going on in the world today. And for this next verse, this is truly what's going on, and the world is scared. The world, they don't know what to do now. Read that for me.
Revelations 2 verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty.
So he said he knew the works. He knew the works of poverty, he knew the sorrows that we're going through in these last days. Come on.
But thou art rich.
But even within these last days of our sorrow, we're still rich in spirit. Come on.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
Of them who? They say, hey, what?
That say they are Jews.
Come on.
And are not. But are the synagogue of Satan.
Hop down to 10.
Fear none of those things.
Fear none of those things. Come on.
Thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. And ye, that ye may be tired, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life.
Hallelujah. So you see what's going on. Israel, the true Jews are waking up. And the blasphemy of the Jews is getting destroyed now. The truth is coming out. And you see what's going on as we're rising up, right? Kwam Yashala, as we're rising up and taking back our rightful heritage, our rightful name. They hate it. And I'm going to use an example of my beloved brothers, HY, going out there preaching the truth to the Edomites, telling them who we are, who they are, and what's to come. And what happened to them? They were thrown in jail. You see? These are all going to be signs of what's to happen. But he told Jacob, you're going to have troubles, though. You're going to have troubles. So us getting thrown in jail, more brothers getting killed, is going to happen. We have to understand these things. Division amongst even Israel is going to happen. But as long as we stay in the spirit, even through our sufferings, we shall prevail. Read verse 10 one more time.
Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer.
Fear none of those things which you shall suffer.
Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison.
So understand, Hashatai, he's trying to try to manipulate you double. He's going to try to cast you out double because you're standing up for this truth. Come on.
That ye may be tired, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days.
So he's going to try to wear you out to the point you don't even want to be in this truth, right? And he said he's going to even cast you into prison. Come on.
Be thou faithful unto death.
He said, be thou faithful, though. Be thou faithful unto death. You have to die. You have to be willing to die for this truth, no matter what. How many of us can truly say we are ready to die for this truth? Ready to die for who we truly are? A lot of us will say, yeah, I'm ready until it's time. But your faith will be tested more than ever. Now, the eyes are on you, Israel. They see what's going on in the world. They see what's going on with us as a people. And they know something is up. So they're preparing. So you have to prepare yourself for suffering. You have to prepare yourself for tribulation because it's going to come. It's going to come. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Understand that, Israel. So pay attention to the signs so you know how to prepare yourself. Let me get 2 Thessalonians chapter 1. We're going to start at verse 3.
Second Thessalonians, chapter 1, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
We are bound to thank Yah always for you, brethren, as it is meet, because that your faith groweth exceedingly, and the charity of every one of you all toward each other aboundeth.
So our faith is supposed to grow. As we gather together, our faith is supposed to grow even more. Because we get to see a piece of the kingdom when we're together. We get to see the real, true love from one another. So we got to thank Yah for that. In all things, no matter what's going on in the world, when he got us together, we got to thank Yah and send him praises and hymns. Because we know it's hard to gather the people together. But through the spirit of the Messiah, the Hamashiach, he's continuing to allow this to happen and grow. That's why he said, do not forsake the gathering, because it's going to be the gathering that delivers us from this captivity. Come on. Keep reading.
Verse 4. So that we ourselves glory in you in the churches of God for your patience and faith in all your persecutions and the tribulations.
So he gave you the key, and when you go through these persecutions and tribulations, you're supposed to have faith and patience with him. Understand. That's why he said we had to get tried and refined. So we can be precious as gold. You have to go through the fire. So he can see who truly faithful to him. Come on.
Verse 5. Which is a manifest token of the righteous judgment of Yah, that ye may be counted worthy of the kingdom.
Counted worthy of what?
Of the kingdom of Yah.
So you gotta go. You think you about to live this type of life, although the chain's not on, we're not truly going through tribulation, but we know we're slaves here due to this system. You think that's the tribulation? Nah, you gotta go through something way worse than that. We gotta go through the fire. So that we can be what? Counting worthy for the kingdom of Yah. This ain't no picnic. This ain't gonna be easy. I'd rather choose the narrow path than the broad path. So whatever Yah you gotta put us through, let it happen. Let Yah's will be done, and you just keep the patience and the faith. Come on.
I'll finish it up. For which ye also suffer.
Verse 6.
Seeing it is righteous thing with Yah to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
Seeing it is right, it's a righteous thing with Yah To what? Recompense tribulation and them that trouble you. And what? We understand Revelations 13 and 9 and 10 more than ever. This is the recompense that Israel is going to get. That is righteous, right? He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. Why? Because this is the patience and faith of the saints. Every nation that has raised their hand against us shall have their reward. But you have to be patient and take whatever Yah is putting you through for the sins of our forefathers and also our own sins, so that when it's your time to rise back to the top, you'll be thoroughly ready to rule. It takes a lot to rule the kingdom, and the Most High just wants his true saints to be ready for it. Understand, we're in these last days, and these plagues are signs of what's to come for Jacob's trouble. So we have to be ready. So let's understand what true faith is. So when these things start happening and come to pass and we go through these tribulations, we'll keep our faith intact. Hebrews 11 and 1. Hebrews 11 and 1.
Hebrews 11 and 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained is a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the words of God, of Yah, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith Abel offered unto Yah a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, Yah testifying of his gifts, and by being dead yet speaketh.
So you got to understand, the faith comes with things you can't see, you can't touch, you don't have now. The faith is you having faith in what's to come, and feeling like it's going to truly come, right? He said, store up treasures in heaven, not on this earth. For the things of the earth shall perish, but the things in heaven shall be restored unto you. You see? This is where it truly happens, because our people are so caught up on, I gotta see it first. I gotta feel it first. I gotta make sure it's real. Is these plagues not enough for you? When the very people and nations on the earth can't even explain it? How much more so does he have to show you these things? And that's been the problem with our people. Just like when he took us out of Egypt. Oh, it was better. It was better for us and being under the Egyptians because they fed us better. They lost faith, and we're going to go through the same thing and the same issues, right? What it has been shall be again. So who's going to truly have that faith that you need to be delivered from this captivity? Because it's coming. It's coming. And the plague show it. The signs of heaven show it. I don't know how much more Israel need to see, but the signs are coming. Let's continue.
Verse 5. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Yah had translated him before his translation he had this testimony that he pleased Yah. 6. But without faith it is impossible to please him.
But without what?
Without faith it is impossible to please him.
So it ain't just going to be you on the street corner teaching that's going to get you into the kingdom. It ain't because you set up a nice congregation over here that's going to get you into the kingdom. Or you have a nice business that may be feeding the people that's going to get you kingdom. It's going to be your works and your faith that's going to get you into the kingdom. That what you're doing shall allow you to prosper in this kingdom and the next kingdom. Come on.
But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yah must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. By faith Noah, being warned of Yah of these... Verse 7. By faith Noah, being warned of Yah of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to saving of his house, by the which he commanded the world and became heir.
He condemned the world.
Became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. Verse 8. By faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into the place which he should after receive for it an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. 9. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, and in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, and heirs with him of all of the same promise. Verse 10. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is Yah. 11. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered a child when she passed age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. 12. Therefore sprang there even of one in him as a good deed, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is be by the sea shore innumerable.
Keep going.
13. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth.
Stop right there. And that's true faith. Not knowing what's truly going to happen by the action, just having faith that the voice that you're hearing by the Spirit is leading you in the right direction. That's true faith that as a nation, we are lacking. And if we want to truly say we're going to be delivered from this kingdom and this oppression, our faith must get leveled up a lot more. We got to level it up a lot more. Because it's no matter if you have the faith or not, these things are coming to pass. Showing us that it is destruction, that it is trouble coming. But overall, it's showing us that yes, soon time we shall be delivered from this captivity. And it's up to you, Israel, if you're going to pay attention, take heed, and be in season and out of season as a Hebrew, or you're going to be the ones that be a part of that faith, that great falling away. It's up to you. So I deliver this message to you to say, pay attention to the signs and the plagues of these last days, because our time is coming, Israel. Our time to rise up back to rulership is coming. Stay strong, stay steadfast, stay in the faith, and continue to put the work in. The Most High is sending his Son back to redeem us sooner than we think. So continue to gather yourselves in the Spirit. And with that, I say, Shalom.